I'm Doug Wright. I'm doing Dr. Surratt's hand and wrist protocol. First I'm going to check the wrist. Put your fingers together. It's an opposition test, which he has a little bit of weakness. And I'm going to check the indentation on the back of his wrist. And he's got a little indentation there as well. So, start with the scaphoid, tricutrium, lunate, distal radial ulnar, carpal metacarpal, carpal spread, and then doing the distal distraction. So first, trapezoid, capitate, lateral hamate, medial hamate. Great. Now I'm going to do Surratt's elbow protocol. My lateral hand is going to grab the proximal radius and ulna, and then my medial hand will grab the distal. And I'm going to supinate and pronate his wrist. Feeling for sponginess or abrupt stop. A sponginess on either side indicates radial head subluxation. In this case, I've got a little bit of sponginess on this side. So I'm going to do crossfiber, 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 and then I'm going to adjust P to A. On the medial condyle, I'm going to feel for tenderness. In this case, if it were tender, I would do an adjustment. So I do first crossfiber, 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 and I would adjust P to A as well. Okay, I'm going to do Surratt's folded protocol for the shoulder, for anterior displacement of the humerus. I'm going to do this by first put the patient's arm at 90 degrees. And then if he can push superiorly, I'm going to resist. You just have a little bit of weakness there. So I'm going to do the supine alternate number 2. And the patient put his hand right there. I'll put my hand under his scapula. Now I'm looking for the subluxation, which is right about there. I just do a thrust. Right, I'm going to do the AC joint with Surratt's protocol. Turn here. Make sure I'm level with the patient's arm is parallel. I'm going to find the AC joint. There we go, right there. With my SIF overlapping, I'm going to check the joint for springiness. If it's springiness, that means it's a subluxated joint. Otherwise, if it's stiff, it's not. In this case, it's a little springy, so I would do a S to I joint thrust. All right, we're going to do trigger points. First trigger point is the subclavius, right there. Next one is the mid-scap. This is number 2. Then there's the teres major and minor. It's down here. That would be 3. Number 4 is the levator scap. Number 5 and 6, there's 2 here, is going to be the deltoid. So here. Then the 7 and 8 is the medial head of the humerus, which is right up in here. Let me just get you off this. There we go. Put it down now. There we go. Right there. And then the subclavius belly is right here. Subscapularis belly. Okay, I'm going to do scapulothoracic mobilization. Place my arm on the scapula and then my other hand on the acromion. Go I to S and A to P. This is Surratt's SC mobilization. first find the patient's, place my thenar on it, place my arm under here. Have the patient look to his left. Alright, I'm going to do the superior humerus head. To do so, I'm going to find the superior aspect of the humerus, right there. And if it's spongy, that's good. If it's restricted, I mean there's a subluxation. And if they're with case, I'm going to go S to I, thrust down. Alright, we're going to do the levator scap tendon. First, I'm going to have the patient lift the shoulder up. Just relax. I'm going to go up, tendon to levator scapula right here, 4 to 5 times. Alright, this is Heron's elbow test. We'll check the triceps and the ulna. Begin, I'm going to have the patient resist. If this is strong, that means I could proceed. Now if you have the patient flex their hand, thank you. Okay, this weak indicates there's a subluxation in the ulna. So if I'm going to have the patient touch the medial epicondyle. Okay, if this is strong, that means I have a posterior medial subluxation. I'm going to do retest. Okay, so strong. Let's say if it's still weak, test here, still weak, that's the other side, thank you. If that's strong, then I have a posterior lateral, valgus. The anterior medial. Let's retest. So strong indicates we fix the subluxation. Alright, this is Heron's protocol for the elbow and tricep. This time we're working on the radius subluxation. So again, if it's strong, now this is so have you prostrate, so just it's strong, good. Okay, so we have weak, indicates a subluxation in the radius. Now if it's weak, I'm going to have the patient, thank you. Now if this is weak as well, that indicates an anterior medial subluxation. Therefore, I locate the radius. So since it's an anterior medial subluxation, it's going to be a posterior lateral drive, line of drive, and that would be just in place there. And retest it. Okay, that'd be strong. So now let's say it's weak. And we see we did weak, weak, so now we're doing strong. Indicates a posterior lateral subluxation, which indicates I've got to go from this direction. So if posterior lateral is a subluxation, I'm going anterior medial. We should have retest. Okay, this is Heron's anterior inferior humerus test. Have the patient put arm at 90 degrees. Resist. Just resist here as well. Okay, now 45. It was weak. I'll go back where it became weak, right about here. Patient puts on like this. I'll do a supine adjustment number 2. And then there we go. And retest. Strong. Now, if the other case it was strong here, but then strong past 45, weak here. Sorry, weak past. That's in 45. Can I go where it was weak? You can stand up and sit up, please. Now we'll do this is Heron's coracobrachialis muscle test, and we're also going to test the Oh, sorry, we can just keep going. This is Heron's coracobrachialis test. First thing, have the patient flex his arm, then flex out the shoulder 45 degrees, then abduct 45 degrees, and then have him resist. Okay. Goes weak, then we have a subluxation of the AC joint, so I'm going to adjust that. Find the patient's clavicle. I'm going to adjust S to I as a thrust, and then retest. Flexed, up 45, out 45, and strong. Alright, I'm going to do a sternoclavicular mobilization test. To do so, I'm going to have the patient 90 degrees, and support the other side here. This is hand outward. And then I'm going to put this lateral to inferior while he resists. Okay, obviously we have some weakness there. So I'm going to pull it down. You can see it's slightly inferior. You can't see with that there. Here we go. Slightly inferior. So I'm going to have the patient go on his side, on the affected side, please. Support his head. My thenar, I'm going to place it at the clavicle. Right there. I'm going to thrust lateral to medial, sorry, medial to lateral, and then I to S. Okay, this is Heron's Terry's major test. And the patient is in nose back, and then resist me. Okay, if it goes weak, and we have a posterior subluxation of the humerus. So we rotate this head inside, and actually it's having to move over to the edge of the table. Okay, a little bit more in. And then drop. Be careful because usually the humerus subluxates anterior. If you can move back over here, we retest. Thank you. And now it's drop. Good.